Right. We're in topic 10-2, and in 10-1, we were pretty much coming up with easier ways to count the blocks instead of counting each individual one. Well, in topic 10-2, we're going to develop a volume formula. Now, I'm teaching it a little different than what the Common Core math book does because 85% of volume, unless you're working, well, even with cylinders, it still works. There's one that's called a universal formula. And pretty much, you need to write this down. The universal formula is capital V equals capital B times H. And we'll place that over here. So that means volume equals base area, the shape of the base, times the height. Now, base does not always mean bottom. Okay? So let's take, for instance, let's try a different color here. Let's say you can use that two-dimensional, it's a rectangle because it's 6 by 5, you could use that as your base. Then this would have to be your height. Okay? Let's say this side. You could use this side as the base. If you're using this side as the base, then this becomes your height. Okay? Again, you can, whatever you determine what your base is, then determine the shape of it. Now go ahead and push pause and draw these figures and put these dimensions into it. Okay, now the second step, this is the universal formula for volume. Okay, now if we look at all three shapes, these are rectangular prisms. This one is special because it's a six-sided square, or 6 faces, which is called a cube. So the formula is a little different for this one, but easier, but you still write down the universal formula first. But pretty much every shape, no matter which one you use as your base area, is a rectangle. Let's change that to black. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, now underneath the base, in parentheses, right here, you're going to write the formula for the area of the base, because the base is a two-dimensional object. All right, we're just taking just like this, or we're taking this, it's just the two-dimensional part of it. So the formula for the area of a rectangle is length times width. If it was a square, which we do have, it would be S squared. If it was a triangle, a triangular prism, you would write the formula for the area of a triangle here, so on and so forth, times H. All right? So that's what goes right underneath. And then we plug and chug. So go ahead and plug and chug this first one and see what you come up with.
Again! It sucks there!
They must be close. I can feel a kung fu chill riding up my spine.
Sorry, Poe, it's just me.
Okay, so once again, that's a little too thick. On your paper, you're going to say capital V equals capital B times H. And I'm going to use the bottom one. So I write the formula for the area of the base, which is length times width, and bring down the height. Now we plug and chug. So what are we going to put in for the length? Well, you can pick either one because of commutative property. So you have to put in 6 yards times 5 yards. Now I didn't make myself enough room. And then the height, which is the third dimension, which is 11 yards. Okay, so that's all we had to do was plug in. It's very important that you put the universal formula first, then you put in the formula for the area of the base second times the height, then you plug, and now we chug. So what's 6 times 5? 30. What's a yard times a yard? A yard squared. Because that's the area, the base area. Now we're going to multiply it by the third dimension, which is the height, which is 11 yards. So what is 30 times 11? Well, let's do a little workout here. 30 times 11 is 0, 3. You put the 10 down. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. So it's 330. So we put in 330. Now, what's a yard squared times a yard to the first power? Remember, you don't see it, but it's there. That would make it 2 plus 1 is 3 yards cubed, or cubic yards. So either way you can write it, except you have to spell out cubic. So it's either 330 cubic yards or yards cubed, or to the third power. And circle your answer. Did you come up with that? Awesome.
Again! Let's search there!
They must be close. I can feel a kung fu chill riding up my spine.
Sorry, Po, it's just me.
Okay, now I'm going to have you push stop, and I want you to try this one. Okay, now this is a cube, so we still write the universal formula. Then we put in s squared, because that's the shape of the base, times the height, and then we expand s squared to s times s times the height. Now we plug, so we plug in 7 meters times the next 7 meters, parenthesis, times 7 meters. Now we chug. What's 7 times 7? 49, because you have to do what's inside the parentheses by order of operations. What's a meter times a meter? A meter squared. And now we're going to times it by the height. All right, so let's do a little workout here. 49 times 7, that's 63. Carry this 6. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 plus 6 is 34. So my answer is 340. Sorry, it's a little hard. 43. What's a meter squared times a meter. We can put a 1 there. 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's a meter cubed, or cubic meters. Circle your answer. So it takes 343 blocks to fill this up. Okay. Did you get that? Awesome.
Again! Let's search there!
They must be close. I can feel a kung fu chill riding up my spine.
Sorry, Po, it's just me.
All right, let's try the last one. Go ahead and push pause and see what you come up with. All right, so we write down, as soon as we see the word volume, like you did for area, you would say A equals, but this is volume, so you put capital V equals the base area, that's the capital B, times the height. The shape of my base, no matter which one I use, is a rectangle. So it's length times width. That's the formula for the area of the base, times the third dimension, which is the height. So now we plug. So I usually use the bottom, even though base area does not mean bottom. So I'm going to plug in 10 centimeters as my length, and I'm going to multiply it by the width, which is 3 centimeters, and times it by the third dimension, which is the height, which is 5 centimeters. Now let's chug. What's 10 times 3? That would be 30. What's a centimeter times a centimeter? Centimeter squared. And we're going to multiply that by, bring down the height, which is 5 centimeters. And now, let's multiply 30 times 5. Well, 5 times 3 is 15, and add a 0. And what's a centimeter squared times a centimeter? That would be cubic centimeter, or centimeter cubed, or to the third power, same thing. Well, did you get that? If you did, awesome. Well, I hope you learned about the universal formula for volume. You're going to use that about 85% of the time in math. And then you break it down to the formula for the shape of the base for the area, and then multiply it by the third dimension, which is the height. Alrighty, and then you plug and chug. I hope you learned a little bit on topic 10-2. I will see you tomorrow.
Again! Let's search there!
They must be close. I can feel a kung fu chill riding up my spine.
Sorry, Po, it's just me.